Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories and enjoy listening. The hum of machinery filled the air as Alex tightened the last screw on the damaged life support panel. He dried the sweat from his forehead, and at a low-level person on the terror room station, he left a piece of oil on his forehead, where it seemed that Alex's eyes scanned signs of trouble on the corridor. Make sure the signs of trouble. The old habit is dead. It's hard. He may have put his past as the infamous bounty hunter Zorak the Destroyer behind him, but the instinct remains that the commotion at the end of the hall catches his attention. Two security guards escort a striking blue-skinned foreign woman with silver hair flowing down her back and violet eyes. Rush over nervously. Please, I mean no harm. She pleaded. I only seek asylum and honest work. The officer did not mind continuing to his detention area, and their eyes were locked on him. There was a desperation in her eyes that stirred something in him before he could think better of it. Alex called out, "Wait." The officers halted, eyeing him suspiciously. What was going on? Alex tried to sound casual, but it was none of your business. The tall officer asked with a smirk. As he returned to work, Alex was angry at the insult but kept his cool. I couldn't help but listen. If she's looking for work, I could use some help around my quarters. I have been meaning to hire a housekeeper. The woman's eyes widened with hope. Oh yes, I'd love to be your butler. I am a hardworking person and a fast learner. The officers exchanged glances. She was undocumented, and Al the Shorter explained that there were no papers. No ID report says we are detaining him. Alex shrugged. I will guarantee she will fill it. Whatever form you need, I will take full responsibility. After a moment's hesitation, the officials have relented to your questions now. But if there were any problems, Alex would not comfort them. As the policeman left, the woman turned to Alex with eyes shining in gratitude. Thank you, sir. I am here. I promise to work hard and not be a burden to Alex. He replied. As they walked, roughly, I'll take you to my place. Alex glanced at Mithril out of the corner of his eye. There was something wrong with her story. Her attitude and speech did not match those of the desperate refugees and their secrets. Well, he was the one who talked about secrets when they reached his tiny living space. Mihir looked around with a slight tinge. Oh my God, you really need help with your homework. Alex was furious. Mahira's elegantly arched eyebrows aren't too bad. There's a half-eaten food bar on your nightstand that's covered in mold. I'll go clean up, Alex muttered. Shinawa's tone was actually sarcasm. Well, I guess I should get started, so where do you keep your cleaning supplies? Alex blinked. I'm not sure I got any mithril stuck in the bridge of her nose. Wonderful. I don't suppose this station has some sort of supply depot where we could obtain the necessary items. Yes, there is a concession stand on the third floor, but you see, you don't have to start here. Second, why don't you tell me more about yourself? First of all, where do you finally come here? A disturbed flash on Mithil's face, and then she wrote herself, oh, this is a way for political turmoil and economic instability. I just want a fresh start somewhere. Alex's new detector made a loud noise, but he decided not to push it for now and make himself at home. I have to finish my shift, but I'll be back in a few hours. Don't try to get me out of the house while I'm gone, he said as he walked toward the door. Mithil screamed, Alex. Thanks again. Yes, he muttered an affirmation, and then his thoughts began to work. When he finally got off and returned to his dorm, he spent the rest of his shift in the fog of routine maintenance, thinking about the mysterious new roommate he'd been half expecting. Instead, he walked into a sparkling, clean living space that smelled faintly of citrus mithril and stood in the center of the room, hands on his hips. Alex looked satisfied. How come you were so hesitant about Mihir's shrug? I borrowed some things from your neighbors. They were pretty kind when I explained the situation. I hope you don't mind it, but I took the freedom to cook a meal. You had some right sadness to see those packages in your closet, so I improvised Alex's stomach, mentioning food. When was the last time he had eaten a real meal? You didn't have to do all that crap. That's the least I could do to repay your kindness. Mithil gestured to the small table where 2 plates sat steaming. Sit down while eating. Her vessel reflects a refined upbringing rather than a hard life. It's incredible. He said it through gritted teeth. Where did you learn how to cook this way? Excessive shadow moved over the mitless face here, and their one takes on the skills when a person has to leave himself. Alex decided to test a little bit. Therefore, you mentioned political turmoil before. Can you give me some information about your family system? Mysore's posture stiffened almost unconsciously. Oh, you know how these things go. Corrupt officials, power-hungry warlords, the usual shit. I try not to think about these unpleasant things. Before Alex could raise the question further, her casual disregard for the complexities of galactic politics raised his suspicions further. His communication unit sounded like a priority alert. Damn, he muttered, there seems to be some commotion at the port of call. I'll have to check it out. Mythical eyes widened because of fear. Alex stood up. It was not true. Maybe some drunk traders became noisy. I don't have to worry. He hesitated at the door. You'll be fine here alone. Of course, Mihir forced a smile. I just said clean up. Be careful. Alex is running towards the dock bay. His instincts screamed that something was wrong. The corridor leading to the bay was eerily quiet. He slowed down the pace of his years of training and moved quietly towards the wall. As he neared the entrance, he heard raised voices, and Alex looked around a corner and felt his blood run cold. A group of 5 heavily armed mercenaries threatened the dock workers and brandish a hollow, mithril-like image. We know where she's from, Cronin, a tall, snarling figure with blue skin and silver hair. Where is she? Terrible workers shaking their heads. I don't know what you're talking about. There are lots of people walking by, including the old lady in the back and Ed, the guy who sent him a lot of wrong answers. Maybe it will improve your memory. He picked up the pulse rifle without conscious thought. Alex's action. When aliens back staggered Alex got rid of weapons. He used the impulse to cross the pile, entered his feet in a smart chest, and opened the nearest mercenary for 2 quick shock explosions. The remaining 2 opened fire, but Alex was already moving. He ducked behind a loader, the smell of ozone in the air like energy bolts hissing by. In a fluid movement, he appeared from the deck and fell both aside with pinpoint headshots. The whole match had lasted less than 10 seconds when the echo of arms fire faded. Alex found out about the shocked dock workers ladder. He clumsily cut his neck. You should probably call security. Tell them that these gentlemen have attempted an attack. I'm leaving now. He backed away hastily, his mind racing. They were professional hunters, and they were after Mithil what hell had. He got mixed up when Alex burst. Returning to his quarters, he found Mithril pacing nervously, her eyes widening at his disheveled appearance. What happened? Are you okay? Alex fixed him with a stern look and cut off act. Who are you really, and why are mercenaries tearing up the station? I am looking for you to faint methyl fail your shoulders, and I will not make sense in the future. The fact is, before his completion, alarms began blaring. Throughout the station, a computerized voice called attention to all personnel unauthorized vessels detected on approach vector battle stations. This is not a drill. Again, this is not a drill. Alex and Missile lock eyes, and whatever secret they both hold, a moment of understanding passes between them. They were in this together. Now we need to move, Alex said grimly. I have a feeling. The mercenaries simply greeted him and ran out of the room. None of them noticed the small tracking device attached to Shinoa's clothes. During her frantic cleaning process, it flashed continuously, broadcasting their location to parties unknown. As the terror alarm goes off and the hunt begins, Alex grabs Miser's arm and pulls her into the hallway. Distant explosions shook the station. We need to get to the escape pod, where Alex is yelling. Nest Myth's eyes widen. No, we can leave the station. Here are innocent people. Alex grinds their teeth. The girl had a point, but his instincts were screaming at him to get her to safety. Okay, let's go to the command center. Maybe we can help coordinate the defense. They crossed the chaos, full of panic corridors, civilians, and security and safety personnel. Alex's rotating thoughts. Who were these attackers? How do they find Mithil at the corner? A group of armed invaders materialized, their armor bearing the emblem of the mythical so-called homeland of the Cole Empire. As soon as she screamed, she grabbed Princess Alexa and jerked her head towards Mihir, who looked scared and helpless. Alex doesn't have time to press. The man's weapon was used to beat the first attacker with 2 rotating shots and locked with a cruel hand. The last intruder raised his hands in surrender. Please don't kill me. Zorak Alex was shocked. How did this person know his true identity and take advantage of his hesitation to sneak out a hidden weapon? Alex's instincts kicked in. He did not think about shooting the gun and putting the man in his position. The drawing of an electric shock explosion is heavy. He turned around to find me here staring at him in awe. How? How did you do that? She whispered, Alex's mind racing. Lucky shot, come on. We need to keep moving. As they continued towards the command center, Mithil peppered him with questions. Where did you learn to fight like that? Who are you? No, you're just an ordinary technician. I could say the same to you, Princess. Alex replied, and Mihir shuddered. It's complicated. I promise I'll explain everything when we're safe. They rushed into the command center and found it in chaos. Panicked officers scrambled to respond to multiple crises and status reports. Alex roars, falling into old command habits, and the exhausted lieutenant turns to him and asks, Who the hell do you think you are in his eyes? Expand awareness. Wait, is it okay for Alex to interrupt? What happens? The officers swallowed hard. Several Cold warships have surrounded the space station. They asked us to hand over some important people, or they would destroy us. Our shields failed, and we didn't have enough firepower to counter Alex's shields, and my mind was racing. He looked at the Mitchell and looked very inner, and he opened the channel to the leading store. He ordered. But, sir, in a few moments, the stern face of Admiral Cole will appear on the main screen. This is General Vickers from the Cole Empire. Hand over the escaped princess immediately, or we will demote you and let Adam Alex advance. I'm Zurak the Destroyer. You may have heard of me. The Admiral's eyes widened in surprise. Doric is just a myth. Boo was scared. Oh, I made sure I was real. Alex stopped his voice and fell into a dangerous roar. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to cancel your attack and take your ships out in exchange. I will not hunt down every one of you and turn your skulls into wine glasses. Do we understand each other, Admiral Weeks? Thor said it angrily, incoherently, but with fear in his eyes. You can't try me, Alex growled as the tense moment passed and the Admiral quickly drained. We're pulling out now, but it's not over. The Empire neither forgives nor forgets. The transmission cut off, and Alex turned to see the entire command center staring at him in a mixture of awe and terror. Well, he retorted, don't stand there. Put those shields back up and prepare for any treachery. When the officer shrank to obeying Middle, he carefully turned to him. This is a legendary cannon hunter, but why Alex protected me is difficult. We need to talk privately. They retreated to a small conference room next to the command center. As soon as the door closed, Mithil rounded to explain to him, and now Alex ran a hand through his hair. What do you want to know about? Are you really Zurak the Destroyer? Why are you hiding in this overseas station? And why are you helping me in the name of the Space Snake? Yes, I am Zurak, or I was. I left life behind, trying to disappear. As for why I'm helping you, Alex rugged. I don't know, maybe I'm tired of running. Maybe I see myself in you, a fugitive whose mythical eyes soften. I understand better than you know that she took a deep breath. I think it's time for me to come clean too. I was actually a Princess Mitila from the Choir Empire, but the reason I ran away was because my uncle's current emperor murdered my father and planned to use me as doll pants, and Alex whispered. This is a story. His Highness Mithril, please die from the title. Please, Mithril. I'd had enough of the royal treatment before Alex could respond to his communicator's tweet. He answered the phone and found a familiar, gruff voice. On the other hand, Zorak, your old snake you haven't seen in a long time. Mohai Alex's blood ran cold. How did you find this frequency, grizzled info broker? Humble. Come on, you thought you were the only one with friends underneath. If you're interested, I have a job for you at a very high-level target royal where even Alex's eyes are wired for Mithril. She crazed her head. Sorry, gra. I found the rest now. Why not make money from this situation? If he flatly refused, Gera would know something was wrong. But if he cooperated, I listened, he said. Gera carefully introduced the details of the capture of the Kola Empire by Princess Mahira, dead or alive. As he spoke, Alex's fingers flew over the communicator, sending coded messages to previous contacts in case anyone could track his location. These were her interesting suggestions. Alex said when the GRA was done, let me think about it and contact you. Don't take too long. The date of the expiration of this offer. Mithil on the phone looked at him in a mixed way of fear and hope. You don't really think about it. You shake your head, Alex. Of course not, but now we know who's behind it. Your uncle must have been hired to coordinate the hunting, and the Mithil was easier. So what do we do before Alex? Can you answer an alarm? They ran back to the team center to find chaos. It was reported that Alex Beams and several bow jazz musicians were split around us. They never left Alex's cursing. Of course, the Admiral isn't going to give up S.H.I.E.L.D.'s current control so easily, but Alex's mind is badly beaten. They had to come up with a plan quickly, and suddenly Mihir gasped, "I have an idea, but you won't like it." She laid out her desperate strategy, and Alex had to admit it was bold and incredibly dangerous. "You're right," he said grimly. "I don't like it, but it might be our only chance because there's a myth about it. When a lost princess accidentally breaks into his life and turns it upside down, he realizes that he doesn't have that much on his mind. What will happen next?" He thought, and they will face it together when the command center erupts against time. Maysol's plan is bold, even foolish, but it is their best hope for survival. As they made their final preparations, Alex asked one last time, "Are you absolutely sure about this? This is the only way we can uncover my uncle's betrayal of the entire empire. When the truth comes out, he will support it." "Will crumble," Alex glumly nodded. "Okay, let's make history." As they moved to implement their desperate plan, neither of them noticed the small flashing device attached to mithril clothing. It continues to broadcast their location, setting the stage for a confrontation that will shake the very foundations of the galaxy. An alarm sound throughout Terra 1 as Alex and Mihir race to execute their daring plan. The station shuddered under the fire of Cole's fleet, its shields weakening by the moment. "We need to get to the main communications array," Mithril shouted through the confusion. "We can spread the truth throughout the Empire." His fighting instincts are very alert, and every shadow can hide an enemy. They rushed into the communications center in a panic. Alex, the technician inside, shouted business, and as the confused staff tried to comply, Mihir rushed to the main console, fingers flying over the controls with amazing expertise. "I thought you were a princess, not a technician," Wizard Alex remarked as he stood guard at the door. Mithil smiled. "A girl can have hobbies, and you'd be surprised what you can learn when trying to outsmart a murderous uncle." Suddenly, the door inward exploded, causing Alex to cover and pull Mithril down with him as garbage was raining around them. Through the smoke, a root figure in decorated fighting armor. "Well, good," and a deep voice sounded. "Rumble, the lost princess returns." Mythil Baxla's pale face. Uncle Zorth, the Emperor of the Chorus Empire, examined the room with cruel entertainment. "Do you really think your little plan will work? I have eyes and ears everywhere." He held up a small device, the tracking beacon, that had fallen from Mythil's clothing. Alex cursed under his breath. How could they have been so careless? "All is over. Mihilzos, keep coming quietly. I can show mercy to your new friend." His eyes lingered on Alex, recognition flashing across his face. "Zorak is the Devastator. Your reputation precedes you. Maybe we could get to the event in Alex's mind." They were cornered, outgunned, and out of options, but as he watched, Mithril saw determination flicker in her eyes. He knew he couldn't give up. In one fluid motion, Alex pulled out his hidden detonator and fired the captured bullet. Zoel tripped on his shoulders, and Alex yelled at Mihir to end the transmission. What followed was a blur of violence and chaos. Alex fought like a man, wielding his legendary skills to the fullest while fending off Zorth and his guards. The blasting unifier is full of air, full of energy conflicts and cracks in the device. By distributing abdominal information to the Empire, All Mitric enthusiastically worked on the game console, and her voice rose to the nest. "I am Princess Mahira, the rightful heir to the throne. My uncle, Emperor Zot, was a murderer and a tyrant. He killed my father, your beloved king, in cold blood. I have proof of his crimes, and I am sending them now. Rise up and reclaim our empire." After saying the last sentence, he looked up to see Alex fighting Zord. Both were evenly matched and quick to launch critical attacks and whirlwind counterattacks. Mihir grabbed the dropped gun and joined the fish. Her appearance surprised Zalkes, allowing Alex to deliver the decisive blow. The Emperor fell to the ground in defeat. There was silence, then the line of communication cracked, and reports of life poured in from across the Empire. Alex and Mithril watch in disbelief as the chaos spreads like wildfire. They did, but their victory was short-lived. The station shook so hard that they almost fell. Panting and still attacking, Mahira's fleet raced back to the command center, leaving Zola Kesa unconscious for the station's security to deal with her. The scene that welcomed them was one of the complete pandemics. A report that Alex Buzz, Haggard's officer, turned to him, falling to 12%. We can't take much more from this mithril, which was directed to a communication station. I am Ahira, the princess of all the ships. Stand down immediately. I declare that I am the ruler of the empire. The main screen flashed, showing the face of His Highness Admiral Wixthor. He lowered his head and said, "We await your commands." Mithril's shoulders lowered in relief. All ships must stand and prepare for my coming. The Empire was entering a new era today, and with the immediate danger past, the command center erupted in jubilation. During the celebration, Alex and Mihir come face to face. "We did," her eyes shining with exhaustion and elation. "You did it, Alex. I just provided some muscle," and Mithil laughed. The sound was bright and clear. In the midst of the chaos, this is what you call a one-on-one battle against the Emperor and his elite guard. Their eyes locked, the air between them suddenly charged with unspoken tension. Without thinking, Alex pulled her in and kissed her. It was a fierce, passionate kiss born of shared danger and newfound trust when they finally parted ways. Both of them were panting, and a smile appeared on Mihir's lips. "I guess this is a way to create an alliance between the bounty hunter and Alex Queen." Alex laughed. "I live to serve His Highness." Their victory brought a whirlwind of activity. Mikhail takes command of the coal fleet and begins the process of reforming the Empire from the inside out, and Alex finds himself at her side. He used his abilities to eradicate the last remnants of Zorkatha's corruption, and as the months passed, the galaxy slowly adapted to the new order. The Coal Empire was concerned that as a conquest force, it became a lighthouse for justice and progress under the mythical rule. On the threshold of the official crown ceremony, Michelle Alex was found on a balcony overlooking the capital's capital. She asked to stand with him at the railing. Alex turned to her for a drink and saw the woman who had changed his life so much, considering how much had changed a year ago, and I was a nobody hiding in the backwater station. Now I advise a queen and help reshape galactic politics. Mihir smiled gently and thoughtfully, and Alex didn't hold her hand for a moment. "I spent most of my life running from who I was to what I could do with you. I finally feel like I'm using my skills for something worthwhile." Mythic, glowing eyes, Alex. "I couldn't do any of that. Without you, you have become more than just my protector or advisor. You have become my partner in every sense of the word." She took a deep breath. "So I want to ask you something. Will you marry me? I could recommend it if I wanted to. How could I say no 1,000 times?" Yes, their kiss was softer this time, full of the promise of the future. The next day, when my hero was crowned Empress of the Korra Empire, Alex stood proudly beside her and addressed his people. In terms of a new era of peace and justice, he knew that they had both found what they had been searching for all their lives. The ceremony was over, and Mihir turned to Alex with a mischievous glint in his eyes, asking the man to prepare for our next adventure. Alex smiled at "Your Royal Highness" and the Milky Way. To make the Milky Way better when boarding a boat, the adventurer is going to cope with any challenges you have in advance. Alex and Mithril both know that this is only the beginning of their greatest adventure yet. But starting with Alex and Missil's wedding, the end of 10 years can only be a new beginning. In the Coal Empire's palace, the spacious courtyard echoed with the laughter and laughter of Alex, who stood watching. But what really sets them apart are their eyes. One eye, their mother's deep purple, the other, his father's steel gray again. Alex exclaimed in his stern voice, "Your form is sloppy. The enemy will not give you a second chance." With determination etched into their young faces, the boys nodded and resumed their fighting stances. Alex has trained them in the arts of defense and strategy, giving them skills that will make him the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. When Alex saw his 4-year-old daughter Luna running towards him, his expression immediately softened. She screamed her little arm and stretched out Alex, and as he kissed a kiss on his forehead, his rudeness melted. Luna is a spitting image of Mithil. My Alex said source is Alex said and causes more giggles. A familiar voice called Alex, and she turned to see Mihir approaching with an interesting smile on his face. "My dear, don't you think you're being a little hard on boys who are only 8 years old?" After saying that, Alex's brow furrowed slightly. The galaxy is still a dangerous place. Mithil, they should be ready. Mithil placed a gentle hand on his arm. "I know, love, but maybe we could balance out the training with a little more fun." Like Zar and Kale on cue rushing past their former seriousness, forgotten as they screamed for their father's attention. "Dad, can we fly in the simulator today?" Zarek asked eagerly. "And yes, you promised to show us how to navigate the asteroid field." Kale chimed in. Alex looked at his family, the vicious laughs of his sons, and his daughter's loving smile. He felt his determination was softening in order. Okay, he admitted in a mood. I figured we could take a break from battle training and hit the simulator as the family walked in, and Alex couldn't help but wonder as he turned the corner. His life changed from a lone wolf bounty hunter to a father and a princess. He found a purpose and a love he never thought possible, and as he watched his children eagerly run off to their next adventure, Alex knew he wouldn't have it any other way. The galaxy is still full of challenges, but together, our legendary bounty hunter and alien queen can face anything as their story reaches our dear listeners. What you may find that you want to know is that this is indeed the end of their adventure. Alex will learn to balance their protection instincts and touch more mildly. More importantly, the royal nanny has taken care of half of the human beings. Half of the KOR children with a zero-gravity lung in the trauma. Please rest assured. The galaxy is vast, and the story of Alex Mythil and his hybrid brooding is far from over. Who knows? Maybe one day you'll hear whispers from a mature spaceport telling the story of the exploits of the most extraordinary family in the universe. In a family where diplomatic talks are as common as battle drills, bedtime stories include heroic escapes from imperial prisons. But in a world where ex-bounty hunters can become royal concubines and princesses can lead revolutions, stay alert and use the Charger Blaster feature. Anything is possible, and remember, if you ever find yourself in trouble with the law, just claim to be a long-lost relative of Chorus royal family. It might not work, but hey, it's worth trying. Until next time. Space Adventures, I hope your fuel tank is full. Your shield generator is very strong.